Aha, I lied. We're actually going to be starting a minute earlier. Also, I don't like how my hair looks with a ponytail right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Daramgar cooking stream, the one and only. Hope you guys are all having a lovely, beautiful day today. We have a lot to do. Today is going to be an exciting stream. Have some really cool dishes coming up ahead of us. Nothing that's like too new for me. All of these are things that I've made before and things that I love doing as well. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. First thing on the menu, we will be doing a beautiful collard greens. Basically, half collard greens have kale. I looked in my fridge and I saw that I had kale, and I was like, fuck, I don't know what to do with this. And I thought, fuck it, we're just gonna do a braised collard greens and kale. Kale cooks down much like collard greens and mustard greens and Swiss chardwood, so it's perfect for this application. And we're gonna do a lot of really cool stuff. We're gonna build a broth I have some pig feet, as well as some turkey legs. Not turkey legs, excuse me, smoked chicken legs. It's a little bit difficult to source everything that I would want in like my local supermarket and stuff, but I feel like we'll get a pretty exciting product nonetheless. Additionally, is that a moth? I think there's a moth inside of my house. Ugh. Additionally, we'll also be doing some red beans and rice because I was craving it and I haven't had some in a while. Do I have andouille? No. Do I have a Hungarian smoked paprika sausage? Yes. So we'll just do that instead. So conceptually, red beans and rice, maybe not exactly the same components that would go into a traditional one, but we'll make do. Country girls make do. I'm not from the country at all. I'm from New York, so it doesn't actually work out that way. Moths are not friends to me. I'm not a big bug guy. I know a lot of people that love bugs, not me, I'm not one of them. So, we have actually quite a bit to do. The order of operations is as follows. First thing, we're going to be building the broth for the collard greens. And with that, I have some pig feet. We'll also have some smoked turkey legs. Some of the pig feet will also go towards the red beans and rice. Chicken legs, smoked chicken legs. And I just kind of want that to cook for a little bit while we do everything else. So honestly, without further ado, I have a feeling that we should just kind of get started with things. Also, hello, Iskaya. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for the follow as well. Could not read who that was, but thank you. Okay, so here's what's happening. We got to get cooking, don't we? Made a mental note of it. Glad I didn't forget it. Well, welcome. Next time, I think I should just like post a schedule or something so that everybody knows. This is the best Friday night vibe. Well, I'm glad. It's Friday, 6 p.m. Listen. If you're anything like me, I don't go out, okay? I'm not going out, I'm not doing things. I'm at home, all right? And if you're watching the stream, so are you. We'll just have a good time anyways. It'll be good. So, here's the thing. I have right here my big, beautiful Dutch oven full of water already because I wanted to do that beforehand, so I didn't waste time doing that now. This is going to be filled up with some of our pig feet. So let's get that started now. I have some pig feet. Oh, rather chunks of pig feet. Where are my tongs? I would prefer not to touch them if I can help it. So half of them are going to go in now. Half of them I'm going to actually use towards the beans as well, just so that we're building a bit of a broth there as well. So 1, 2, and 3. They're leaching a little bit of blood, but that's totally fine. It's meat, has blood sometimes, get over it, I suppose. It's cooking stream is so organized, it gives an insight. Why, thank you. I'm not maybe, I don't know. This is just something I put a lot of care and love into. So that is very sweet of you to observe that. Okay, this I'm actually just gonna set aside for now. And then I gotta get some other stuff in here, don't I? I gotta get my smoked chicken legs in. So I'm gonna use 2 of these smoked chicken legs in the broth for the collard greens. And I'm going to use one of them when we're making the beans themselves. So this, I'm actually just gonna pop this, I don't know, over here or something for just a moment. Let's get this, let's open up this package. I have no idea if these are like cooked chicken legs or not, or they're just like hot smoked. I have no idea what's going on with them. I just saw these as a package and I thought, okay, I may as well. So, let's go ahead and open these bad boys up. And then we're just gonna pop them out. Okay, so they do look cooked. Right, smoked meat does have a tendency to kind of look uncooked, but that is definitely a cooked piece of smoked meat. Also, thank you so much, Small T. Oh, T. Hello, thank you so much for the raid. Every time that you guys raid, are you just gonna say raid Shadow Legends? Hello, welcome, welcome. So, smoked chicken legs going in. Thank you for the raid, T. I hope you had a beautiful, lovely stream, one as lovely as you. Where did these splashes of water come from? Was it from the smoked chicken legs? Okay, it's fine. This is fully cooked. So it's actually totally okay. It's funny to you? Yeah, you just tell everybody to do this every time. Okay, so next, we have a couple of smoked chicken legs. All I need, I'm just gonna quickly wash off my hand. Boop. And we will throw in some bay leaves, as well as some chicken broth that I have frozen in the fridge. Sushi time now? Okay, I hope you have a lovely time with sushi in that case. So I have some frozen broth that I will be using towards this very endeavor. Frozen into cubes, which will be nice for us to have. Yeah, get that bad boy in there. We'll do like, I don't know, we'll do just one of those, and then we'll see if we want more later. We don't really have to put it all in right now. And then we'll also put in some bay leaves, because I think that will be nice for us to have. I think bay leaves are quite lovely. Where's my bay leaves? How did I lose my jar of bay leaves? Hello? I had a big jar of bay, ah, found it. Sweet. I was confused for a second. Okay, just a few bay leaves, nothing crazy. And I'm not too worried about salting this again because this is just going to be collard greens, so I can always salt it later. Also, thank you so much for the gifted sub to the one and only T. So thank you, Sparky. Hello, you're here for the red beans and rice? Well, currently, we're not doing red beans and rice. Well, we will actually in a second. At the moment, we're just currently doing the broth for the collard greens. So this just has to happen now. This has to happen now so I can give it some time to cook. I'm not going to be able to give it as much time as I would normally like, but it's just going to be what it is anyways. Okay, so let's head on over to the stove, my friends. Okay. Woof. Let's get this pan out of the way. I have no use for this one at the moment. We're just going to go ahead and take a nice big heavy Dutch oven and get that onto the heat, onto the stove. Just like this. We're going to have to maybe move this around. I'm just going to have this be the center of attention for a little bit. Boop. Get that on nice medium high heat. You don't want it to reach over the Dutch oven. And we're just going to pop that lid on top and let it go. We're going to let it do its thing now. Also, hello. Welcome. Okay, great. That's happening. That's doing its thing. We're just going to let that go. Let's head back to this camera. So, I'm glad we got that out of the way. That just had to happen like now. This looks like a good vegan meal. Yeah, absolutely, with pig feet and sausage. So, once again, I do want to show off the sausage a little bit for a second. So, I do not necessarily live in a neighborhood where I can get andouille, okay? I live in a part of Brooklyn where I only have like Chinese stores around me. I also have like a lot of Russian supermarkets around me. And then I also have some like Middle Eastern stores around me. This is from one of my Russian supermarkets. This is a Hungarian sausage. This is a Hungarian smoked paprika sausage. I tasted it beforehand and I was like, yeah, you know what? This is pretty close to what an andouille would do functionally in a red beans and rice. So all we're doing, we're simply adapting it to the ingredients that I have on hand. Is this going to be the most traditional red beans and rice? No. But I also picked this because of the amount of paprika in it, and I was like, ooh, it's red. It's going to go in red beans. Isn't that cute? I think that's cute conceptually. So before we can even think about the sausage, before we can even think about the schmeats, we got to build the beans. So ideally, right, if I wasn't actually streaming this, I wouldn't do instant pot beans. We are streaming it, so we have some logistical things to consider. How comfortable am I with cooking Middle Eastern dishes? Turkish food, yes. Other Middle Eastern cuisines, not so much. There's a lot of overlap, but maybe I'm not the most educated on that. By the way, where is the cornbread? I'm so sorry we don't have any cornbread. I apologize sincerely. Okay, so we're gonna build the beans. And in the beans, right? So normally you would do like smoked ham hocks and stuff. I don't have smoked ham hocks. What I do have is that one remaining smoked chicken leg, okay? That smoked chicken leg is just gonna go in. Actually, I should have measured out my water first, but I got a little bit antsy. It's fine. It's not a big deal. All right, we need about 2 quarts of water to 1 pack of beans. That is sort of my ratio that I always go for. So let's get that in there. A little bit less, because it's going to have some extra water from the chicken broth that we'll add to it too. The pressure cooker does a really good job of this, honestly, because we're able to both build a broth simultaneously. Maybe a little bit more water. All I can think about is the kielbasa sausage. And that should be enough. Perfect. Okay, great. So, into this pot, that will be our remaining pig feet going on in. Right, I saved half of it for this purpose. We don't have the smoked ham hocks, but we do have the smoked chicken leg, and hopefully that's going to compensate for some of that lack of smoke. And if not, we also have the chopped up sausage, which is smoked, which is just gonna go in later. You'll see what we do with it. Okay, that's done. Let's get some more bay leaves in here because I feel like bay leaves always just make things better, don't they? Where is it? Found it. Is it really clean? Why, thank you. I put a lot of effort into it. I'm glad you like it. All right, bay leaves going in. We don't need to go super crazy with this once again because we'll be building all of the other stuff that's happening in a different pot simultaneously, okay? So in a different pot, that's where we will be sauteing like the sausage. We'll build like the trinity of the garlic, of the onion, of the celery. All that will be happening still. I just want to get this out of the way. And normally I wouldn't divide this into two pots or anything, but once again, I am just doing this in a stream setting. So this is the way I have to kind of format this. Okay, that's done. Next, what else do I want in here? I wanted another cube of frozen chicken broth going in. Let's get that in there. Ah, come on, big boy. Nice job. And it's gonna melt in the pressure cooker. It'll be fine. No need to worry about it. That goes in, and then an entire pack of red beans. Should I have rinsed these? Actually, maybe. Rinsing them is always like good form, but also just kind of doesn't matter. Maybe we just do that to make ourselves feel better. Being organized in cooking and just going slowly is good. You're just able to go slow, you're able to chill out, hang out. It's awesome. Okay, sweet. We got that taken care of. We'll give that a nice little mix with our tongs because they're already contaminated with the pork feet. And again, I'm once again not too concerned with salting this at the stage. This is going to be red beans and rice. We'll be salting the rest of the ingredients that go in. And I really like controlling the amount of salinity that we have at this stage. Okay? So, all that goes in, and this is going to be high pressure for 40 minutes. Cooking stream, but also smash bros at the same time. That's right. Okay. Is the bottom of this wet? No, it's fine. Goes in. I wish I could get a pressure cooker camera because I still don't have that, do I? High pressure, 40 minutes, and then we'll do 15-minute natural release. Okay, sweet. We've gotten all of that shit out of the way. All that is done. All that has been done. Now, we can actually start talking about everything else that we have going on. And oh my God, I might not have realized how little we have to do. This might be a problem. Or maybe not. I guess we'll just see. I like having things to do. It keeps me busy. And I've realized that we have to just chop up the aromatics, chop up the sausage, get that going. And we just kind of, we're at the mercy of the beans. Really, that's going to be one of our most definitive things. Not a short stream. No, it won't be short because all of this shit takes time. But I underplanned what I'm doing in between. So we might actually just look into my fridge and find out ways that I can keep myself occupied. Ooh, I fucked up, didn't I? That's right. There's a lot worse things in life to be at the mercy of, mind you. Hello, Trident. Lovely to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, let's chop up some aromatics, shall we? Oh yeah, I should get also like half an onion going into the greens themselves. Let's get my waste bowl out. Always nice to have a waste bowl on hand. Okay. And half of the onion I'm going to slice up for the collard greens. Half of it I'm just going to go in now for flavoring the broth that we're kind of building. Right? So just like this. Peel that bad boy. Get it out of here. Take that. Boop. And we're gonna probably just end up removing this. So don't really worry about all of this. Although that is dirt. So you know what? Let's just peel back that little layer and it's fine. Okay, this I'm gonna toss into the broth that we're building. for the collards. And the collards, by the way, once again, what's really, really nice to do, washing things in advance. Collards, especially in supermarkets, they are pretty filthy. They're really, really filthy. They're like covered in dirt and sand. That is like a whole sink operation. You have to like disinfect your sink. You have to do like a whole thing. So I got that done in advance, hence why I have this entire thing of collards. And all of this started, by the way, none of this really started from me doing collard greens. All of this started from me looking at the fact that I had all of this kale in the fridge that I needed to get rid of. And so I was like, okay, fuck it. We're doing half and half kale and collard greens. It'll be fine. The greens that just end up cooking down super nicely. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good stuff. Okay, now, let's think. What can we do here? We gotta chop up the aromatics. We gotta get started with the aromatics. And we gotta get started with the sausage. Well, my friends taught me to scrape an apple if I wasn't wanting to get the... Yeah, but you can do that, but then also, like, I just eat apples straight, and it's, like, fine. So as for how edible that wax is, I don't know. There is wax on stone apples, that is true. Do I brine my collards? No. But what I do is I just thoroughly wash them. I individually wash each sleeve. Well, you're not dead yet? Yeah? I'm not dead yet. So that means everything I've done in my life is fine, actually. Okay, let's get my bench scraper out. Where is this thing? Boop. There it is. And this is my bowl where everything will go into. Do I have any professional cooking experience? Yeah, I used to apprentice in a couple of restaurants when I was younger, back when I was like 16. Otherwise, I am totally self-taught. And those apprenticeships didn't last that long either. Okay, let's get talking about some sausage. Let's get some sausage action going on here. It is, in good Eastern European or German form, to peel sausage casings. You also don't have to. I mean, all of that kind of comes from... when you're eating like natural, like hog sausage casing, it's really, really tough and chewy. They were fire, Clementine, I'm glad that you love them. So I'm trying to figure out if I should actually peel these things or not, because it's just gonna be a little bit of a hassle, won't it? And I don't think it's entirely necessary. You can just split this down, score it like that. But it's just the kind of way that I grew up. You know what? I tried that for like a second and it didn't immediately come off. So it's just not happening now. That's good. Okay. I'm gonna cut the butts off though. It's great. So here's what's gonna happen. We're going to go ahead and cut this into coins. That's a good sausage. Think about the kinds of pieces that you would want in your red beans and rice. So nothing like too big, nothing too thick by any means. I'm just gonna go down all the way. Just like this. That is true, but they're also innately different, right? I'm not doing the same kinds of dishes that you would do in a restaurant as I would in a home setting, and some things are just better suited in a home setting. Okay, I'm just gonna go a little bit faster. I'm just kind of taking my time to buy time. Okay. I'm trying my best not to eat all the sausage, but it's really just that tasty. So currently the theory is this. I think I'm going to start by doing the sausage in the pan rather than going immediately to the vegetables, because I wonder how much fat I'd be able to render from the sausage to then cook the vegetables in, but it also doesn't really matter that much. I'm just sort of gauging the amount of moisture that we have. Not snacking on the sausage once you've cooked it is so hard? Oh, absolutely. Also, Neffy, thank you so much for the sub. 3 months already, indeed. Yeah, because the cooking streams have been a little bit more intermittent than I would have liked them to be. But yeah, we've been doing this for already 3 months. Holy shit. That's actually kind of crazy. Garlic, dry pepper. Yes, yes. I do know of sujuk. Is that how you say it? I do know of it. Okay, now here's what happens. For the red beans and rice, we have, of course, maybe the most important concept, right, in all of Cajun cooking, which is the idea of the Trinity, right? So think about this as a derivative of French cooking, where the Trinity, right, the mirepoix, is the carrot, the celery, and the onion. In this case, the key difference is the distinct lack, okay, of carrot, and instead we have a green bell pepper. And we're going to be building up a trinity. This is going to be the aromatic base. This is the aromatic base of a lot of really, really essential Cajun dishes. And this being, of course, one of them. So that is indispensable in something like this. This really defines a lot of the flavor profile and palette. Maybe the one that is most easily substitutable is going to be the celery. Maybe just because I'm a celery hater. But the green bell pepper and the onion, without a question. But the green bell pepper is what makes it distinctly Cajun and not French. Okay? So let's get started on this. And also, my thinking with the red onion was quite literally along the lines of, ooh, we're making red beans and rice. Wouldn't it be cute if I used a red onion instead? So that's why I'm doing it. Okay, I'm actually going to start using my chef's knife now and not my petty knife because I do have some bigger tasks to handle at the moment, don't I? Okay, peel this over this. Yeah, I'm not a celery hater as much as I am just a celery critic, okay? Get all that off. And as for how fine do I want this chopped, I would like this to be anywhere between like a small and a medium dice. Simply because I don't want massive pieces of into red beans and rice. In the red beans and rice, the biggest things that you need to be biting into are the sausage and then the beans. And these you kind of want to dissolve, okay, into everything else. That doesn't mean you need to do like a super fine like you would on like a shallot or something. But you don't want these to be too big of pieces either. Okay, let's just get this going. I'm actually just gonna quickly clean this up because it's a little wet. Okay, sweet. Onion looks good. We're just gonna go down, make nice little incisions all the way along it. I just think the texture of celery is not my preference. Okay, and now, I wish I had a bigger cutting blade. This is one of the things, by the way, that sucks about like cutting onions at home. It is inevitable for it to spill all over the place unless you have a big enough cutting blade. And big cutting blades are actually quite annoying in a home setting, aren't they? But I really do want to get a nice like soft, high soft specifically. There's a specific type of plastic cutting blades that are used really commonly in like professional kitchens and in Japan as well. I'm going to do the annoying thing. I'm going to use the sticking to my advantage. Right? I go into it, I let it stick, and then I just clean it off just like that. It is a game changer, isn't it? It just makes your life so much easier. Okay, and now we'll cut some more incisions like this. My knife is getting quite dull. I'm going to try to get them sharpened tomorrow. Whoop. I'm crying a little bit because of how dull my knife is. That sucks, but there's actually truly nothing that I can do about it at the moment. Fuck. Maybe my petty knife would do a better job. Because it might just be a little sharper than this is. But we'll just get through it. We'll be fine. One. But yes, if you ever have like ingredients spilling off your cutting board, that's a really good indication that you either have just too much stuff on there or you just need a bigger cutting board. And that's pretty impractical at home. We're all crying with you? Great. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate this. Ugh, that sucks. That's fine. I'm okay. I'm gonna wipe my nose off. Excuse me. We're fine. We're fine. We're chilling, in fact. Again, the solution is quite literally just having your knife fucking sharpened. And then none of this would happen to you. And I didn't. I couldn't get it done in time. Okay. Next, celery time. All right, let's do this bastard. So I scrubbed it clean, right? It still has some of the fibers attached to it. And the way that we'll just tackle this is we'll cut this in half, so it's a little bit easier for us to work with. We'll cut it into pieces like this. And then we'll get a nice fine, very thin slice on these. Something like this. Maybe that's not as fine as I would have liked. I could have ideally cut my batons, my big sticks here, into a size smaller. So I'll do that with the next one. It's just a little bit late now because I've begun this process. Let's clean off my station for a second because this is getting quite full. Make sure nothing is spilling off. Okay, great. We're back to it. I do want to emphasize that I like having my celery fairly small compared to the other bits of the trinity that would be going in. Okay, sweet. That's one. Ah. And then let's get the second celery going. I do have everything a little close to me at the moment. Something like this, I think, is a little bit more manageable. Get that many sticks going. I love the pans you have, thank you. So do I. Yeah, that's kind of what I should have done the first time around with this many slices. But that's okay. Live and learn. It'll actually just be fine. Is the pressure cooker? Wow, the pressure cooker still hasn't built up enough pressure? That sick bastard. How could it? I should also check on the broth that we're building at the moment. Is that boiling yet? Okay, it's starting to simmer. We're gonna have to move it away to a different burner in a moment once we're done chopping up our aromatics. Just say it's rustic and then it'll be fine. Wow, thank you. I never thought about it that way. God, that's one of my least favorite like cooking buzzwords used. Oh, it's so rustic with like big fucking pieces of like herbs thrown all over the place. I hate it. Hate it. Okay. Just going through all the celery at the moment. And then we'll move on to the bell pepper. Again, you don't need much, but a little bit of aromatic goes a long way with something like this. And then, of course, we can't forget about the garlic, which we'll do after. Boop. All that comes off. And now, let's get the rest of it. We gotta get the bell pepper done. Okay. So, bell pepper, really quick. Look at the folds, look at the sides. What you're going to do, you're just gonna shave down. You're gonna take a little peek on the inside. Make sure you're minimizing your waste. And then you're going to get nice pieces just like that. Okay? This is how you kind of get all of it off in one fell swoop. Right? And we're not really wasting that significant of amount. Boop. Look at that. And then all of this is the quarter that we have left behind. And now we have all of these pieces that are ready for consumption. Just as it is. All right. So, theory is just the same. We're just going through all of these bell peppers. We're just getting nice slices all the way through. Let's get all of them sliced up, and then we'll actually chop them up into cubes. Again, you don't want massive pieces of pepper or anything, right? So nice thin slices, and then we'll chop it up. Just like so. My cutting board is getting a little crowded, honestly. This is the only difficulty of this. Okay. And then one last one. Ah. Yeah, this knife is getting dull. It was struggling to cut through the skin at the bottom. Okay, that beeping tells me the pressure has finally been built. And thus, the 45-minute countdown for the beans begins now. Meaning we have about like an hour to get this situation just sorted out, which is ample time. Ample time, really. And I'm gonna be cooking all of this, by the way, in chicken fat. I have a little bit of chicken fat left over, that I thought would be really good to use in something like this. Traditionally, you would also cook in like a bunch of lard or whatever. I didn't have lard, I had chicken fat. I want to get rid of the chicken fat, so we'll do that. Okay. Actually, I'm going to just set my pan onto the heat. Let's get that done. I want to start preheating the pan. Let's head on over to the stove. Hi, welcome back. So here's the deal. This bad boy is simmering away, isn't it? We're gonna do a little switch. We're gonna do a little switch action. How hot is this? Quite hot. We can't actually pick that up at the moment. So here's what's gonna happen. This Dutch oven is gonna go to the alternate burner at the moment. That one's just gonna be going. It's gonna be simmering away. It's gonna do its thing. We're gonna go ahead and grab it. Just like this, nice and quick. Oh, it's heavy. That is indeed a big thing of metal. And it's hot, too, which does make it that much more unpleasant. Okay, push that in a little bit more. Try not to scratch the bottom if you can help it. And now we'll crank that back onto the heat, and we'll get this going as well at the same time. So, with that pan, because that is a fully clad pan, right, that has copper and aluminum inside of it, you don't want to really heat that up empty or naked ever. So what we're going to do, we're going to be heating up alongside it all of our gorgeous, beautiful chicken fat that is actually totally melted in this time. A little annoying, it has some of the liquid in there that might just kind of end up splashing all over the place. Okay, sweet. Yeah, that's nice. That's a lot of fat. Okay, nice generous amount of chicken fat, my friends. And we're gonna go first with the sausage itself. That's gonna end up fucking splashing. How do I keep my hair so healthy and so long? Great question. I do almost nothing to it. Almost nothing. Also, you're welcome to ask any unrelated questions that you would like. You're totally welcome. Holy shit. This is a lot of bell pepper that we have to process, don't we? Yeah, that's going to splash all over the place. There was a little bit of like liquid left behind, and it was kind of easy to separate when the chicken fat was cold. But now that it was brought up to room temperature, and the chicken fat got all liquidy, that's gonna be splashing. I can already hear it. Oh well. Live and learn, I suppose, huh? Boop. And then we'll go in with the sausage first. We'll take out the sausage. And then we will go in with all of the aromatics. Then with the garlic, which we have yet to chop up, actually. So lots to get done. Lots to get done. We're managing our time efficiently, I think. I hope so. And the idea is, oh, yeah, that's fucking popping. Well, it'll sort itself out. It'll figure itself out, I suppose. There's nothing I can really do for it at this point. Just besides staying back. That's just on me for having water in there. That's all my fault. That's fine. I'm not upset about it. Going through all of these bell peppers. And it's all gonna end up cooking down. So the idea is once the beans are finished, we're gonna go in with some of the broth from the beans. We're gonna go in with the beans, and we're all gonna have it like simmer and cook together. I don't think I'm doing anything that special with mine. Unfortunately, I'm making like a couple of compromises, but I am making it unique with like smoked chicken legs and stuff. So this isn't a particularly technical one. Yeah, well, here's the thing. We're not in a restaurant kitchen. We're not meeting time quotas or anything. All we're doing right now, we're waiting. Oh shit, that is fucking splashing. Whoa. Hold on, hold on. I have the very perfect solution for this moment. Aha. Engage. That will keep it from splattering to a minimum, I suppose. But there's actually just nothing we can do for it. Yes, so in the pressure cooker that I'm cooking the beans in right now, that currently has some pork bones, some pork feet specifically, and it has a smoked chicken leg. So that's just happening in like a very, very expedited process, right? Over the course of pressure cooking. But ideally, I would be doing that over a longer period of time. And building up like a lot of flavor. And building up like a super flavorful broth. But guess what? Time is not a luxury that we have at the moment. Okay, is that ready to cook in? I think that's actually ready to cook in. The splashing has now been kept to a minimum. The oil has now successfully heated up, and my friends, it is now time to transition on over to the stove. Let's head to the stove. Where's the stove shot? Great. Head to the stove. Oh, actually, this seems to be boiling quite aggressively at the moment. Let's move that to the side. Great. Thank you. Let's get this off. And this I'm just gonna dump on in. Get my sausage in there, all incorporated. And we no longer need the splash lid. It just did a good job for us in the moment. Actually, I still need this. I lied. We do still need this. This is where we'll be putting out the sausage after that's done. So, something like that. Let's move this over and get that sausage nicely fried. Fry up the sausage and then we'll go in with the aromatics. Okay, we got to keep a close eye on this to make sure this doesn't burn. Right, we're just trying to get as much fat out of it, as possible. And there's a lot of overlaps, by the way, with red beans and rice. With leaf red beans, they're actually quite similar if you think about it. A lot of the same concepts going on, right? Especially if you're doing it with like chorizo or something. Oh, that looks great. That looks and smells fantastic. All right, I'm gonna let it do its thing. I'm gonna let it get a little bit of color, undisturbed, and we'll focus on the garlic as well while that's happening. Boop. Hi, welcome back. So, garlic time. Nice lower heat. That's still a little too high for my taste. Where's my garlic? Aha, found it. And I'm gonna use my smasher for this because I think the garlic press just does a really good job. We're gonna do like, I don't know, five. We'll do like 5 cloves of garlic. 6, fuck it. We're doing 6. That's what's happening. So first, let's get the skin off. Go through all of that. Okay. Get all the skin off these bad boys. My nose is telling me I should give that a stir. Yeah, that sausage is buckling. That looks great. That also smells amazing. Okay, we actually can't leave that for too much longer. We're actually gonna soon pull that out. So I'll go pretty quick with the garlic, and then we'll go in with all of our aromatics, and it's gonna be nice. So where's the rest of it? Ah, found it. 1 and 2. I'll get my tongs ready. And once again, I'm not worried about draining the fat, all the flavors into fat. We're using like really good chicken fat and stuff, right? It's just gonna be good. It's gonna be really tasty stuff. And honestly, the sausage and the way that it's cooking right now, the smell of it reminds me of andouille enough that I'm like, okay, great, this is just gonna turn out good. I have full confidence in that at the moment. Okay, I really need to give that another stir, don't I? That might be burning at the bottom. I'm gonna have to just stop this process. This is the kind of thing that has to be babied at the moment. Hence why I'm so diligent about it. Okay, hello my friend. How are we doing? Yeah? Maybe a little bit more color, and then it'll be perfect. And I want to get this step out of the way so that we can get as much of the sausage fat out as possible and have the vegetables cook in that. Because if we just started with the vegetables and we took that out, we might have to end up adding more fat later on through the process. So it's not as much about flavor development as it is about managing the moisture and making sure we don't add more fat than we need for something like this. Okay. I could just peel the garlic in the meantime, I suppose. Yep, I sure can. Little garlic doesn't hurt nobody, especially in this kind of food. So an aggressive amount. That sausage smells fucking fantastic. That thing smells so good. Oh man, this is boiling too aggressively, isn't it? I can see the amount of steam coming off that thing. Wow. Okay, is that it? That is it. Great. And all we're gonna go ahead and do Oh shit, we haven't taken the skin off this one, have we? All we're gonna do is just put these through a garlic press, because it's a tool that I really love. Give my hands a little wash, because they're sticky. Gloves are actually really nice for this, aren't they? This is what gloves are intended to be used for. Okay. Oh, that sausage is getting fried. That is some good looking sausage. Great. Couple seconds more, I can cut the butts off, and then we'll pull it, and we'll add in all of our aromatics. It's gonna be good. Oof, getting it done. Okay, butts, they gotta come off now. I could have done gloves, but it's honestly too late. So it's okay. So that's a lot more than 6 cloves. I think it's fine. I feel like garlic is always a little bit weaker than I think it is, and then I use a lot of it, and then I'm always like, shit, I wish I had more garlic. And this is one of those things that you can use a lot of it in, an aggressive amount of it in. The butts are coming off. That's right, everybody. We're getting crazy. It's a crazy Friday night. Ugh. All right. Gonna get my favorite little tool out. Where's my garlic press? Where's this bad boy? Come on, I miss you, baby. Wait, what? Are you back here again? Aha, it is back here. Okay. And before we do that, we should actually probably pull the sausage, because I can already tell you right now. Hello, my tongs? Are they just stuck in the basket? Yes, they are. Okay, I can tell you right now that that is the correct amount of color that I wanted to have on these things. Yep, that is perfect. So, don't have to really worry about draining the fat. All of it's still gonna go back in. I'm just gonna keep as much of it as I need in the pan that'll need to cook off the aromatics, okay? And I'm just tilting it back like this to create like a natural, to create like a little natural drain. And I'm gonna do my absolute best to not snack on this while we do the aromatics. Okay. Sausage has now been completed. And we have all of that fond at the bottom. We have all of that fat as well, flavored by the sausage fat. And that is what is going to make these red beans and rice really, really special. Okay, new plug goes in. Do I like McChickens? Not particularly. I do not. I do like me a good McDouble though. That I feel like you can't go wrong with. But a McChicken, not for me. Oof, that's a lot of aromatics, isn't it? Well, luckily it's all gonna end up sweating down. We're not looking to get like browning or color on this thing. We're just looking to get like a little splash of color and for it to just end up cooking down. So, to reduce all of this volume. All right, I have no use for these tongs at the moment. I'm setting those aside. Give that a nice little mix. Oh, great. Make sure we're scraping up the bottom, right? Because we have all that fond and the vegetables have just released a lot of water just by being, you know, given a little bit of space on the pan. If you weren't using Dutch oven for collard greens, would you use this inside the pot? Yeah, I would. I would. In fact, I would do all of the beans in the one pot, right? I would do all the beans, I would do the broth, I would build everything in one thing. But alas, that is not something I have a luxury of at the moment. Hence, we're doing this. Oh, ah. That sausage is hot, but it's really good. That is remarkable. Okay, we're actually not gonna need much more salt in that. That sausage is very salty once it's cooked down. Wow. Okay, and we'll also do a bunch of black pepper at the stage, and we'll get on with the garlic. And then what will happen, we'll reintroduce the sausage, and we'll cook this down with some water so that this basically catches up to the beans, right? We want this to stew a little bit in addition to the beans. And then it's all gonna cook together. So, all that's going now, it's doing its thing. We can head back to the garlic. Dara didn't try very hard not to eat the sausage. Yeah, I just immediately gave in. There was absolutely no resistance on my end. I just had to. Okay. Garlic. Boop. Got all these bad boys lined up. 1. Just keep going all the way through it picking it up as it needs. You know, this might be the time that I actually use a glove because this stuff is so sticky. Is this like a German dish or what? The sausage thing? Yes, so this is Cajun, right? Red beans and rice is Cajun. But I didn't have any andouille sausage. So this is a Hungarian sausage that I'm using, right? So it is quite European. And I'm also using like European smoked chicken legs as well. Just unintentionally so. Well, not unintentionally so, more like adapting to the tools and the ingredients actually physically available to me. And this was basically the closest thing I had available to similar enough to andouille. Right? And I'm not gonna make like a trip out to like a fucking Stop and Shop or anything. I will simply shop at my local stores, and this was close enough. The only real difference is that this is like super paprika heavy, which I don't think andouille is, but it's fine. It's just gonna go in and it'll be fine. Okay. All that garlic is getting pressed. This is a shit ton of garlic that we're adding to this thing. And honestly, I think that's fine. I think I have no opposition. I have no problem with that in the slightest. Okay, sweet. It's a lot of garlic. Now let's get all this off. All this off of a garlic press. And this we'll just throw into the aromatics. Phone overheating, the power of dry cooking. Yeah, you can feel the temperature radiating through your phone. Fucking technology is something else, isn't it? Okay. I have no use for that anymore. We can just take a second to clean up. I no longer need my chicken fat for anything either. The Dutch oven I'm going to quickly check on with a towel because it's hot. Yeah, that's good. That is just simmering away, and we're slowly building a broth, and we're basically buying time for ourselves. We're buying time for ourselves by doing that, and then we'll throw in the collard greens. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. Okay, let's give this a nice little stir. See how that's going. That's progressing quite nicely. We're just looking to cook all of that extra vegetal liquid out of it, okay? We want to start sweating this down, not boil it. Lovely. I'm gonna have another piece of sausage because I've earned it. Oh, dude. That crispy Hungarian sausage is fucking amazing. That is excellent. That is really, truly excellent. That was a bite that I just heavily, heavily enjoyed. You know that? That was awesome. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Not a little bit. Okay. So, currently the beans have 22 minutes, and then it's going to take about 15 minutes for it to pressure cool. Or do the slow release, excuse me. That just scratched my microphone, I did. My apologies. I'm just taking a second to clean my station and to reassess what we have going on and everything that we need to do. The next thing that we need to do, we need to chop up all the kale and collards that we have. But aside from that, I didn't delegate as much as I should have in terms of things for us to do together. Which is a little bit tragic, isn't it? But okay. And by the way, when I say like we don't need to get any color on the vegetables, not only will it take like a lot of time, but it's also not contextually in the flavor palette of this dish for the, for the Holy Trinity, right? For the bell pepper, for the onion, for the celery, for that to get like a lot of color. It's not that it'll taste bad, it is that contextually and culturally speaking, it is going to taste fairly different from the way that it's sort of intended to. And also will take a lot of time because that is a lot of fucking vegetables that we put in to get any amount of color on it. So if you're worried about like browning and the amount of roasted flavors that we're getting, we have a lot of meat currently going in the beans themselves in a pressure cooker. We have like the smoked chicken, we have the pork bones as well. And we got a lot of browning on that sausage as well. And as that sausage, okay, as it's going to stew, we're going to throw in a bunch of liquid, we're gonna throw in some extra broth. It's gonna be fine. It's all gonna work out just fine, I think. Okay, sweet. Let's take a little peek at the broth that we have going. And this is gonna be for the collard greens. Let's take a nice little peek at that. Look at that. It is simmering away, it's getting a lot of flavor. Right, we're cooking out the pork, we're cooking out the chicken in there as well. Slight smokiness from the chicken legs is coming through at this stage as well, which is really nice. Great, sweet. Everything is going according to plan. Do I need my tongs for anything? Maybe. I'm gonna actually set them aside for now, just so that I have them around. I don't think, well, maybe I also need this bowl, so I'm just gonna set that behind me. Just keeping my station as organized as possible at the moment is what we're doing. Okay. Hi, hello, welcome. Pressure cooker has 20 more minutes on the beans. Then we'll do like a natural pressure release to make sure the beans are fully cooked through. I did not soak the red kidney beans or anything. I didn't do anything crazy with them. And so the next stage, once we reduce enough of the liquid that we hear it start to slowly fry just a little bit again, we'll go in with some sage and some thyme. Normally, I wouldn't bother with dried thyme or dried sage, especially dried thyme. Dried thyme kind of sucks as a spice, as an herb. I would always do fresh. But guess what? I didn't have any. And it will actually just be fine in this case. But ideally, yes, I would like to have fresh thyme and then pluck it out. And it would turn out totally okay. So we're waiting for that to get done. Let's talk about the greens that we have. Boop. Hello, welcome. Actually gonna toss out this waste bowl. So all of this started, on my entire reason for doing red beans and rice was because I had a sack of dried red beans in the fridge, in the pantry, excuse me. And then I also had a bunch of kale as well that I wanted to get rid of. And I like using kale for things like this because kale cooks down really, really nicely. And honestly, when your greens are really cooked down, it is very difficult to actually distinguish between what was a collard green and what was a mustard green. They all kind of get that same kind of texture. So these like super, super leafy greens are excellent for this kind of application. They really just do a great job of it. And we're gonna cut them into ribbons. To me, one of the most unpleasant things is when you're having collard greens and you're having really massive bites of the greens in your mouth and it just like drapes over your fork like a curtain. And the reason why I don't like that is because even though it cooks down and it does lose a lot of its volume, when it's still spread out, it just becomes really inconvenient to eat. So I do like my thin-ish ribbons when I end up making greens. Okay, all that water is actually cooking out. We might not be able to give the kale as much attention as I would have liked at the moment because we'll be going in with the garlic really, really shortly. Yeah, but as you can see actually, let's quickly go back to the stove cam. Let me just show that off for a sec. The vegetables have reduced a lot in the volume and it is going to continue to reduce, it is going to continue to soften once we end up stewing it a little bit. We're not gonna mash it or anything, we're not gonna mash the beans, we're not gonna do anything crazy with that, but it's lost a lot of its volume and that is essential. I don't wanna bite into my red beans and rice and get like a big crunchy piece of pepper. I don't wanna get a big crunchy piece of celery. The idea is for this to all just blend in, okay? I'm getting another piece of sausage because it's my kitchen and I can do what I want. That is so tasty. That's good. Okay, so back to kale. Let's get a bowl ready. This is where we'll be dumping everything in. We also got to slice up the rest of the onion. And I think I'm just going to add the onion at the same time as we would the kale and stuff. So, nice thin ribbons, okay? And once again, guys, when it comes to kale, when it comes to collards, wash the thing in advance. You don't have to prep them, you don't have to necessarily stem them quite like I did, but wash it in advance. Put it in a salad spinner and have it ready to use. Because then you don't have to do the process of washing leafy greens the day of, before you actually want to cook, is maybe one of the most unpleasant things alive. It is actually just brutal. Having this done in advance lets me literally just take out the leaves. I'm not talking about fucking like pre-washed, overpriced bunches of kale. Also, Dosky, thank you so much for the gift of 3 months to Sparky. Really, really appreciate it. So nice just having all of this. Oh my God, it's a gift of 3 months. Whoa, that's huge, thank you. Just have this ready to go, okay? Doesn't have to be too perfect, doesn't have to be too precise, but I'm just looking for thin ribbons. That is quite lovely. Thank you, Dosky. Okay. Get all that bunched up. And you can once again tell by the sound how much moisture is left in a pot. And I can hear by the slight sizzling, the slight higher end notes that coming through, that pan is getting dry. You don't want to leave this totally unattended because then it will get a little bit too much color on the bottom. That is the best gift that you could possibly get. That is a blessing in disguise, Sparky. Yeah, that's getting some good color now. Quite nice. Okay, here's the deal. Here's what's happening now. I'm going to get my frozen broth ready one more time because we're going to do another cube of that in here. Once that's done, of course. Now, we're going to go in with our garlic, with our sage, and our thyme. We're not going to go too crazy with the herbs. Not going to get like insane with it or anything, but it'll just be nice for us to have. Okay, first up, we'll do the dried spices because I can then dirty the spoon as I please. A little bit of ground sage. We'll do whatever this amount is because that felt right to me in the moment. I don't want this to taste overwhelmingly of sage and thyme, okay? These are just slight aromatics for us. Then thyme, even less of the thyme because thyme can get easily overpowering and that's not what I want. I don't want this to taste herbaceous. We're just supposed to give it a little bit of extra oomph. And then a shit ton of garlic. That is the culinary classification for how much we've just added. That is a shit ton of freshly pressed garlic. That thing is pungent and that is perfect for my intentions with it. Yeah, that's good. Is this boiling too aggressively again? Yes, it is. Just mix all that through. That smells lovely. Okay. That smells really, really nice. I don't want to bang the pot. It's a really nice pot. That was just out of instinct, memory that I was doing that. Let's just get a full view of the stove. Yeah, look at that. That's going, that's doing its thing now. I'm going to actually quickly fill a pitcher with water that we can use to stew this down. I'm not going to try to keep too much of the moisture in the pot. That's mostly just to continue cooking and soften everything and catch it up with the beans because I really want to be using the bean broth. Oh, that smells nice. Oh, that smells really, really good, in fact. Oh, that's good. That's really good stuff, guys. Is the auto exposure fucking up again? I swear to God, the auto exposure of this thing is really, really unpleasant. I've had enough of it. And the idea is we're going to reduce the water once we've added it, okay? This isn't for, you know, flavor or anything. This is just for texture reasons that we're adding water. Oh, all those vegetables together. Great. Actually, we'll also do, I think, a bunch of cayenne. That's pretty traditional in this kind of thing. Where's my cayenne? Yeah. Now, once again, pretty bad form. Oh shit, that's unopened. Pretty bad form to go over a big steaming thing with a shaker, but it's fine. A shit ton of cayenne, and then we can always just add a little bit more later on. This doesn't have to fry off or anything. And this is just the base. We're doing all of this work to help then flavor the beans. Okay. That's done. That's been done. That's cooking. That's going. Great. So, once again, we have a trinity. We have the bell pepper, we have the onion, we have the celery. That also has a bunch of garlic that we've added. That has the sage, that has the thyme, some salt, some black pepper, and some cayenne as well. And then, all of that, by the way, cooked in some homemade chicken fat. Okay? All that cooked in homemade chicken fat. And we're about to go in with sausage, the fat of which we've also rendered out. Just going in. All that goes in. And then, my friends, we will dump in a bit of liquid. That is delicious. Whoa. That is really, really good. In fact, I might not do any of the broth that we have and just do water. Because again, the entire point of this, the entire intention is just to soften things. Okay? This is just to soften things. This is just to keep it ready for when we add up the beans. Normally, I would do red beans and rice all in one pot, but that has about 25 more minutes to go. This needs a little bit of catch-up. ketchup in the catching up sense, not how weird people pronounce ketchup. Okay? Just for full clarity. Okay. That's going, that's good. We just want everything to soften, we want everything to continue to cook. And then later on we'll be adding our beans. It'll be good stuff. Woof. All right, we got a lot done. Last thing that we really need to do is just chop up the greens that we have. And then we gotta find a way to desperately kill time or something. Yeah, this was not one of those things that was that well timed, IMO. How's the broth doing? Let's give a little checkup on that bad boy. Ugh, the towel's too thick. Let's use a thinner towel. I much prefer this one anyways. Okay. Hello, my friend. How are we doing today? Aha! Simmering away, getting a lot of flavor, getting a lot of color. Nice. Yeah, how tender is that chicken getting? Because really, I would like the chicken to hit a point that we can kind of shred it into the rest of it. That'd be quite nice. I also don't really care about the scum or anything because it's fucking collard greens. Okay, you don't have to go crazy with this at all. Alright, this is just doing its thing. We're gonna allow it to continue to do its thing. Okay, great. What is this accent called? I don't know. The Daramgar accent. It's just the one that I have. God, I need that sausage in my life? Yeah, it's good. The sausage is good. That's really good stuff. Okay, we can do about this heat without it leaching over the sides. Once again, just giving that a nice stir all the way around. Great. Comfort food of mine, sausage pasta. Oh yeah, love it. All right, let's get back to the kale chopping. Unfortunately, I couldn't give the broth as much time as I would have liked for the collards. That is my only regret at the moment. But we'll do the best under the circumstances. So I think the idea is, once the pressure cooker is done with the beans, we'll add in, all of the kale and the onions and the collards to the pot. And then it'll be ready in about 30 minutes of total cook time. And I'd like to finish it with some vinegar. I think that would be quite nice. That's fairly traditional as well. And the collards are kept super, super simple, right? We're keeping it really, really simple. Ah, hello kale stem that I neglected. I will get rid of you. That is way too much kale on the board at the moment. In fact, honestly, I might just keep the meat in as I cook the collards. Traditionally, you would do like the broth first and then just cook the collards in that. But because I'm working with such a limited time, I will just keep the pork bones and I'll just keep the smoked chicken legs in there while I do it. Again, not ideal by any means. The only thing I think I'll just take out will be the bay leaves. I'll take out the bay leaves and I'll take out the onion that we have in the floating around, so those don't turn into mush. Or the bay leaves just get these really, really hard pieces. Okay. We have a lot of greens to go through, and once again, all of this is going to end up cooking down quite significantly, right? So do not worry about the volume that we have at the moment. Go through all of it. Woof. Great. I do want to make sure that my heat isn't so high that things are scorching at the bottom. No, it's fine. It's wet enough, things are loose enough, it's good. And again, the goal at the moment is just to reduce that liquid. Right? We're looking to stew it down, but we don't want to have a bunch of bland water in the red beans and rice. The water is purely functional for us to get the product that we want at the moment. And we have all of that broth that is going to be in the beans, right? Those beans, they're positively filled with the smoked chicken leg as well as the pork bones. So compared to the collard greens, that will actually have time to develop in flavor because it was getting pressure cooked. Gonna get my thing for the night side. Much love. Enjoy your meal. Why, thank you. Thank you for being here, Slomo. Really, really appreciate you. Oh, shit. There is one thing that we need to actually do kind of right away. We need to soak some rice. I was gonna do some more haiku rice. So let's actually get that squared away. Whoa, that's something I totally forgot about as a component. I'm silly, aren't I? I've been known to be a little bit silly from time to time. Okay, once again, we're using a haiku rice. Why do I like haiku rice? It is in between brown rice and white rice. It has the germ attached. It's a little bit more nutritious, but the only thing that it demands is a little bit of extra soaking time. I'm just gonna kill off that char. Sweet. Gonna wash this out now, really nicely. In the meantime, I'll just head back to the stove so that you guys get to watch that. Get to watch that stew away while I'm busy at work. Ah. And again, not traditional to use haiku rice by any means. You would just use like whatever white rice that you would have on hand. But I like haiku rice, and I'm just trying to integrate it into other parts of my diet in the way that I eat. And this is just a plain rice, right? You're not doing anything crazy with it. Okay. Washing it like a little bit just above clear. And I'll show you what that looks like. And the reason for that is I like keeping some of the starchy stickiness to it. Okay. Sweet. Rice has now been fully washed. Love the 2 different socks. Thanks. Oh my God. I forgot that you guys can see that. So, once again, so take a look at the rice. A little bit above, right? Just up to my fingernail or so in terms of water. This has to now soak for about 30 minutes. Where's my lid? Well, actually, as long as we'll let it soak, in fact. I am not fully convinced, by the way, on the benefits of soaking. You guys, that is. I'm not fully convinced. I could just do like a side-by-side one time of like, okay, unsoaked versus soaked, and try to keep as many of the variables as consistent as possible. But I'm not just 100% convinced. What I am going to do, by the way, in the meantime, I'm gonna head back on over to the stove. I'm going to take out the onion that we have in there. And the reason I'm doing that is because it is going to turn into mush if we leave it any longer, and I don't want that. I don't want a big fucking mushy onion for no reason, okay? So take that out. Great. Chicken going in there. Nice. It's getting as tender as it possibly could. Hopefully the chicken will get tender enough that we can then take it out and then shred it up and throw it back in. And the pork bones we'll just fully take out. So, onion we are now removing before it turns into mush. It has done its job. It has continued to flavor the broth. The bay leaves we'll pick out later, okay? Everything right now is just currently cooking. I'm not worried about the scum or anything. Don't worry about that part at all. Okay. Is there any more floating onion pieces? That's fine. If I was doing like a really clear broth, then I would try to skim it a little bit. But that's not what I'm doing. That's not what we're doing here, okay? So there is truly no point to doing that. Now let's go back on with the lid that we have. Nice big generous lid. Ow, shit, it's hot. And it's when it's like this, it's kind of difficult to pick up. Ah, heavy. Okay, we got it back on. Nice. We did the job. All of the vegetables are currently cooking away. Let's give that a nice little stir once again. Make sure nothing is sticking at the bottom. Just softening, getting to the texture that we want it, and soon it will be ready for the beans. Soon, I promise. And by the way, the beans are almost done. So they have 1 more minute on the cook time, and then 15 minutes of natural pressure release. So everything is actually coming together. I wish I anticipated better how much all of this would like take in terms of active time. This is definitely one of the more inactive things I've made. Great, this is done. 15 minutes. So once that clock hits 13 minutes behind me, sweet, let's get back to the collard greens. Hello, my friends. Where are we at? Welcome back. So we've just finished shredding up all of the kale. This is all gonna cook down, right? All this volume doesn't mean anything at the moment. Now we have a big fucking bowl of collards. that we have to now get rid of as well. This, I went through the liberty yesterday of painstakingly washing it. This was a lot of effort. This, as opposed to the kale, we can kind of just end up, that's all washed, yes. Okay. This we can all just stack it up, just like so. Then we roll it up, and then we get to slice this into nice, thin ribbons, just like so. The kale, we didn't really have to do that because the texture doesn't allow it to. It's a little bit smaller. That might have also just been baby kale. But the collards lets us do this, which I think is really fun and really satisfying to watch. These aren't the best collards. I am not in the South. I am in fucking New York. God. You know what I miss? What blew my mind in Florida was the fact that I was able to get like a sack, like this massive like thing of collards that was like the size of my torso for like $3. One head, one little head of collard greens, $45 here. It's insane, the difference. It is actually insane. God. It might just be also New York prices fucking everything up, but it was crazy. You're really organized? Why, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. That makes me really happy to hear. It was one of my biggest culture shocks. My ex was in Florida. I'd go and visit her, and I would use that as an excuse to make collard greens every time that I possibly could. Man, my collard greens were banging. They were awesome. We would have like some leftover barbecue sometimes that we'd throw in there. It was good. And thus I'm trying to substitute the leftover barbecue, the lack thereof, using the chicken legs. Boop. All that goes in. So many containers now full of all of these leafy greens. I love collards. Collards are actually just some of my favorite things. You know that? A great way, to judge a southern restaurant is by the collards, right? Because if it's just like these shitty collards that were like cooked for 15 minutes and then just like splashed a bunch of vinegar on it, useless. They're supposed to taste like the broth. They're supposed to taste like the meat that it was cooked in. And you want them really nice and tender. Most places just kind of mess them up. But it is really, truly like one of the most simple yet delicious things. Also, this is bubbling away really aggressively. What is your problem, pal? All right, give that a nice little stir around. We're gonna try to get this as dry as possible though, right? We're trying to get rid of that liquid. We're trying to reduce it, and then we'll add in the beans. And everything when that comes. Ugh. A lot of little bits of leafy greens that are now left behind. Okay. Dun, dun, oh, this song is so pretty. What is that? Is that a hair? Is that somebody's hair? That didn't look like mine. Okay. Never heard the word collard before? Oh, there we go. Hello, chef. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Cybergoth. Hope you're having a lovely day. I eat collards whenever they're available to me. Okay, sweet. Going through all of these, processing these bad boys, getting it done. Just got here? Well, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. Happy Friday the 13th to you too, Jay. I'm excited for the beans to be done, because once the beans are done, I'm going to be able to finally get rid of this cutting board, and I'm going to be able to handle everything else. And by the way, this is the one time that I will be cutting wet things on a cutting board. Usually that is the most unpleasant sensation alive. But I'm telling you, throwing all of these into a salad spinner would have been the most, like, time-consuming shit ever. And thus, this is the last thing that I cut on this cutting board. I think it's totally okay for me to get a little wet with it. Okay. These are actually so wet that I might just drain this off really quick. Yeah. Okay. Some more collard greens here. These I'm not even going to bother. Fine, I'll fucking roll it up. I was punished for it. That's fine. We'll stack it up. We'll make it easy for us. Okay, we'll get the job done. We'll do it the right way. Ugh, I hate this. It's just a wet mess. That's the one thing I don't like about this, is the fact that you have to deal with like wet greens on your board. To properly drain and dry off that amount of greens, because of how high in volume they are, is ridiculous. And it's just impractical. And thus, you just have to put up with some things, because the alternative is just that much worse. Okay. So it's a type of kale? No. I actually don't know. Species-wise and stuff, I don't know. But culinarily speaking, these are considered like hardy leafy greens, right? So in the realm of things like Swiss chard, right? Kale, I think, is actually closer to that of cabbage more than anything else. But this is not my field of expertise in the slightest. It is just a heavy, heavy leafy green. And when they're cooked down, all of them become slightly similar in terms of their taste and texture. I know sometimes people do like salads with raw collards, but I wouldn't do that, personally. That's not my cup of tea. These for me are best stewed, braised down, cooked down. Okay, great. That has all been done. Lovely. We got our greens done. The last thing that we have to do actually is also chop up this onion, unfortunately, which means we have to continue to make a mess on this wet cutting board, but this we're going to actually just slice up really easily. That being said, let's quickly check up on this. Yep, that's looking good. It's reducing as it should. We gotta chop up the onion that we have. We gotta slice it up. How long has the stream been going? Okay, this is gonna be a faster stream than usual. Wow. Okay, that's totally fine. This is all gonna cook down. It's all gonna get added at the same time as the greens themselves. Half of the onion went towards the broth, and now these onions will be purely textural as well. Right? Get a nice little sweet bite intermittently through everything. Woof! Okay. I didn't mean for that to sound like a bark. That was actually accidental, a little Freudian slip even. I just wanted to express my exasperation with everything that we've just done. So, my apologies. Let's head back over to the stove. Look at that. That's going. In fact, I don't need to show off this camera at the moment, do I? Not at all. That's going, that's doing its thing. We'll check up on the broth, excuse me, in just a moment. I'm just gonna clean off my station for a second. Give this another movement around, make sure nothing is sticking, make sure nothing is burning. All the vegetables have now really cooked down. I'm gonna taste the sausage, see if it's gotten any softer, and if it's still chewy, then it's fine. Maybe not. It fell off my spatula, and all of my inclination to do so has immediately dissipated. It's all just gone. Okay, great. Let us do something. We're gonna do this. We're going to start taking out some of the bones and the bay leaves rather from the pot. We're gonna take out the chicken legs and we're gonna shred up the meat and we'll put it back in. That's what we'll do. So, to the collards we go, my friends. Where is my thing? There it is. Sweet. That's the lid. And now it'll happen. Here's what's gonna happen. First step, we're going to remove all of the bay leaves because that is destined for the trash. We have no use for those anymore. They have contributed all they've actually needed to the broth, in my humble opinion. Wait, did I have bay leaves in here? Why can't I find them? Hello? Wait, am I crazy right now? Ah, that's one. Okay, keep looking, keep looking. We also don't need the skin. We're going to try to shred up the smoked chicken, but we're not going to keep any of the skin inside. Okay. That we'll take out in a moment's time. Where is it? And the bones we'll just keep in as long as possible so that they can do more of their job. Oh, that smells really nice. That smells quite lovely. I can't find any more of the bay leaves. I feel like I'm crazy. That's what, I lost it. I got a bunch of them all at once. Shit, is it just over? Is the dream dead? Is there nothing I can do about this? Fishing for this is unpleasant and I don't enjoy this. Okay, it's fine. If there's a bay leaf, then there's a bay leaf. And I think everybody will live if they get a bite of it. Yes, it'll suck, but people will be fine. Let's get the chicken out. Chicken, we're gonna have to shred this bad boy up. And then we'll go in with all of the greens that we have, dedicated for this exact purpose. That's the pork bone, that's the pork bone. Surely we can find, oh, is that another piece of meat I saw? It is another piece of meat. Aha, 1 bay leaf. And 2 bay leaves. Sweet. We got it all. I think that's it. We did it. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Bonjour even, if you're from Montreal. I think that's what they say up there. Let's get my sage and thyme put away nicely. Let's give my aromatics a nice little stir. Make sure all of that is going the way that it should. Yes, did I just splash? I absolutely did. Did I make a little mess? That's fine. Everybody does that from time to time. Okay, sweet. That's all done. That's all squared away. In fact, I'm gonna give that broth a little bit of a test, a little bit of a taste, rather, because I wanna see how much of the meat flavor we actually ended up getting out of things. I'm curious if it made that much of a difference. That is substantially meaty. That's actually really nice. The bay leaves come through again. That's nice. Okay, sweet. The pork bones are going to continue to do the thing. The meat will shred up and throw in there. Unfortunately, I didn't get as much of the smoked flavor as I would have liked. Ideally, in something like this, you would do smoked ham hocks. Guess what I didn't have? Smoked ham hocks. I think I needed more than just those 2 smoked chicken legs if I wanted to get some real serious, like, smoky flavor in the pot. But we'll add in a bunch of salt now. A bunch of that goes in. Then, my friends, we will go in with all of the kale that we have. All of it goes in right now, and it's all gonna reduce in a moment's time. Okay, it'll be fine. All the kale, and then all of the collards as well. Boop, oh shit. Oh, that sucks. Oh, that is the worst. Oh, I'm gonna have to pick that off the floor. This is the worst. Is life worth living? This is, I'm gonna have to sweep later. Oh, I hate this. That's fine. I'm not upset. That's okay. I love sweeping. My favorite. Can't get enough of it. Okay. All the greens go in. All that's in there. That's doing its thing. We got the last of it in there. And then we'll do a nice big splash of vinegar as well. And I'm going to be using Filipino vinegar because I have that and I need to get rid of it. I think this would be a fine application for it. You're not going to taste too much of the individuality of the vinegar or anything, right? So you may as well just use something. So big splash of vinegar going in now. Boop. A couple of those big splashes. And then we'll just add some more later to fully season it. Okay, great. Let's get all the greens in there. All of that is going to cook down. You can already see a lot of the volume dissipating as we've done this, right? Getting it, all those greens in there, tucking it all in. And we'll slap a lid on it. And that is just going to cook until we're ready to eat, is what's gonna happen. We're just gonna shred up the chicken that we have as well. Sweet, that's done. Hello. Hope you're having a lovely day. It's looking amazing, why thank you. And then we're gonna release the beans in just a second. This is reducing, right? We've cooked down all of the aromatics. They've lost a lot of the volume, which was absolutely essential. That was essential for us to do. That was essential for us to get out of the way. Okay. Let's chop up the chicken. Let's do that. This I'm gonna put in the dishwasher in the meantime. And then the beans should be ready. Has it depressurized? Wow, it still has pressure inside. That's crazy. Head back on over. I have my chicken right here. And this is barely gonna take any prep at all. All we're doing, we're going to just take the skin off of it. This is already de-skinned. We're gonna take any big pieces of meat off. Just like this. It's actually quite hot. Get all the little tendons out as well. Okay. We're gonna just throw that onto the cutting board. It is quite hot, and we'll just chop it up. You see those tendons? You don't want anything to do with those. Just peel them off, and they come right out. I'm not actually sure what that is. Is that technically considered a tendon? I feel like tendon is one of those words that chefs throw around all the time. Oh, trust me, I can already do that. I can do that right now. I can do that present year, present time. You know what? That smoked chicken is amazing that we have in here. That is also just really, really hot. So it's kind of difficult for it to get fully off the bone as we would like it to. We don't want the skin in this though. The skin will be a little bit of an unpleasant texture in this whole thing. Only thing is we've got to get rid of this tendon that is left. It is super good. Yeah. It's great. It's going to be an excellent inclusion. In fact, we also have one more smoked chicken leg that is in the beans. If it's not totally fallen apart, we can use it towards this purpose as well. Towards furthering the collard agenda. Ow. Fuck. It is really nice and smoky. I think just by cooking this a little bit longer in there, it will introduce a lot of the smoky flavor that we're kind of missing and looking for. Oof, that's hot. I didn't need to do this with my hands. You know, I could have done this with gloves. There's a million other tools that I could have used, especially because I have like eczema on my hands. This was not at all necessary in the slightest. And yet, I still put myself through it. For all of you guys. Yes, you asked for this. Okay. That's really nice. Okay, sweet. This we can set aside now. I have no use for that at the moment. And all I'm gonna do, we're just gonna chop this up. Sup, dude? Hello, Lola. All right, give this a quick little stir as well, by the way, because this has just been reducing this whole time. We don't want it to squelch on the bottom. And, by the way, we can now pressure release the beans. That is ready to be depressured. I'm gonna depressure that. That's doing its thing. Let's chop this up. Into nice manageable pieces. And this, my friends, will just go throughout all of our lovely colleagues. Hello, Soylent. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. Sweet. Smoked chicken legs. I will say that most of the smoky flavor of the chicken legs is only on like the outside part. The inside doesn't really have it, which I think is quite interesting. So it was good that we boiled it and we made like a broth out of it, right? Because then we actually extracted as much of the smoky flavor as possible, but not as long as I would have liked. I wish we could have gotten some like smoked ham hocks. That would have been like super classic, super, super traditional and something like this. Okay. Let's not underestimate the raised power of Empire. We need time to plan. No, I'll underestimate it. All right, she doesn't know what she has coming with you. It'll be over for her in a moment. All right, my friends. The beans have been depressurized. The rice is soaking away. The collards are in the pot. I repeat, the collards are in the pot. Let's head back on over to the stove so I can show you that as we add the chicken. Well, kind of show you that. And this is just going to stew away, right? This is not the kind of a thing that you can particularly overcook. This is the kind of a thing that only gets better and better with time, all right? So once again, the beans are done. The greens are almost totally raw at the stage, right? Recommend for somebody who has issues with inconsistencies in meat. Are you talking about it in like an autism way? Well, I guess that's a personal question that I just asked you that you don't have to really answer. So here's the thing. I don't necessarily even think there's a solution, right? Other than deconditioning yourself to the inconsistencies of it, which I feel like is already like an existing form of therapy, right, that people do for that kind of thing. It's like, for example, like people that are like afraid of bugs or anything, right? Or they just have like a very like strong aversion. They are given like a little bit of exposure therapy, right? And doing that in a structured way over time. And so that would be my very non-professional, non-medical assessment of that. But I'm also not particularly qualified, because if you have an issue with the consistency of meat, that might, it's a psychological thing at that point, right? So even if it's not like super, super intense, it is still innately psychological, and so exposure therapy would be pretty good. Or you might also just be stuck with it. I don't know. This is not my field of expertise. And I don't want to give you bad advice, you know? Okay. My friends, the beans have been done. We must transfer them. Oh, the beans look really good. They look fantastic, in fact. Okay, I'm just gonna clean up my station for a second, and I'll show off my beans in a moment's time, once I'm fully able to. So the colleagues are going, the colleagues are cooking. They're doing their thing. The sausage that we also have going on here is cooking away. Ow, did I just splash all over myself again? Oh, I am the worst. I am making a mess today. This sucks. I really burnt my hand. Very, very unpleasant. Okay. This I can shut off. I don't need that to cook anymore. Right now, we're just gonna add the beans to it and it's all gonna cook together. Ow. Oh, that is so funny. Wait, do you meant like... Oh my God, did I just completely... No, inconsistencies in meat. Okay, I'm fairly certain that didn't refer to inconsistent when cooking meat. I'm pretty sure. I think that was done in like a texture way. That how that was just described to me, right? I think I got the right idea. But that also would have been really funny if everything that I just said was like totally useless. And just like not relevant at all. That would have been pretty hilarious actually. Okay. Woof. A lot going on around me. Let's clean some shit up. Let's clean some shit up. I gotta get rid of things because there's a lot in my vicinity. And doing that is the best way to get yourself stressed when you cook. Okay, you gotta clean as you go and then everything is just gonna be fine when you clean as you go. Okay? It's my number one rule. Cooking is only stressful and overwhelming when it's made out stressful and overwhelming. It doesn't have to be that way. You can literally just mitigate the amount of stressors in your life. Throwing shit into the dishwasher as you go, getting that ready so that you have it clean for when you need it. Okay, inner texture. Okay. Good. Good that I wasn't wrong and that I didn't waste my time. That's the most important thing, really. Okay. That's all done. We're gonna talk about the beans, my friends. We're gonna talk about the beans. Colleagues are currently going. They're doing their thing. They're stewing away. They're looking great. And we'll salt and season that as needed. I am going to quickly taste the sausage that we have. Oh, the beans smell lovely. The beans smell actually quite wonderful. Okay. I'm going to taste the sausage with all of this deliciousness around it. Ah. That's really hot. Oh, that is so good. That has so much flavor. Dude. That sausage, just by itself, already like remarkable. That is already really amazing. Okay, great. And then we'll get the beans in there. It's gonna be even better. So I'm just currently cleaning off my station a little bit, making sure I don't have like this big massive mess in front of me. Again, so good to do this, and you won't get stressed out when you cook, okay? Clean as you go, and then everything else will just fall into place the way it needs to. Sweet. Now, my friends, the beans need to be put into the pot. Unfortunately, is my spider dirty? It is in the dishwasher, but it's actually all going to cook, so maybe it'll just be fine. You know, I'm not gonna be the worst. I'm gonna actually wash it and clean it the way that I need to. That's what I'll do. I'll wash off a tool that I need. Okay. That's been done. Still has some soap on it. Okay, I gotta get my beans over to this right here in front of you. My friends, let's take a look. Okay, how do we do this? I unfortunately don't own any like coasters, which is like a problem. So I think I'm just gonna do something like this. I don't have anything to like put a pot on if it's hot. So here's the beans. Shit, that is going to fall over, isn't it? Nah, it'll be fine. That won't tip over. It's okay, it's stable. This is all of the beans that we have fully cooked, okay? What we'll do is we'll probably just go through this. And I do want to make sure that the beans, okay, they're tender. God, I love red kidney beans. They're delicious. So, here's what's going to happen. We need a little waste bowl that will put all of the little bits that we don't need. And then we also need to grab a really nice pan here. Ooh, that's boiling too aggressively. That's all cooking down. Okay. We'll be right here. We'll be transferring things over. Let's just show this off a little better. Just like this. Ugh, this sucks. I don't get to give you guys a really good angle of what this is gonna look like. I really wanna just show you the transferring process. But I could also alternatively just do that on the stove. Okay. I don't think I do. I don't even think I know what that is. So here's what's gonna happen. Beans going in. We're also doing this and we're sorting through it all. And we're seeing if there's any bits of bay leaf or bones. So there's a little bit of bone. We can just pop that out, right? That's that pork bone that we have, the pork feet. I'm not a zoomer. I am a zoomer, I'm sorry. Take that, dump that in. Ooh, that is boiling aggressively. And also, by the way, guys, the rice has officially finished soaking as well. So that is done. And now we can just cook the rice as normal. I'm setting it on the heat. Bring it up to a boil, drop to simmer, cook 15 minutes, that kind of thing. Okay. Let's head just to the overhead camera, shall we? Okay. Let's get this bad boy in front of you guys so you can actually see what all of this looks like, what this whole process looks like. Get in there, take out the bay leaf because we have no use for it, and we're just looking at it, and then filtering it through and putting it into a pot. Ooh, excuse me, didn't mean to hit you guys. This is the only thing I've been struggling with so far is whenever I have like an Instant Pot and I have to take things out of it or something, it's not the best on camera. There's not a lot that I can really do about it, but we'll figure out some solutions, won't we? Okay. And then that chicken leg as well we'll take out. We'll do something nice with it. I don't think that'll go into the red beans. We'll actually just reintegrate that back into the collards. And I think that would be good. Okay. Oh shit, did I leave a bay leaf? I did leave a bay leaf. Out you go, buddy. I have no use for you. And we really want to cook these until they get creamy, okay? These are really, really nice and tender at the moment, but with a little bit of extra cook time in that bean broth, right? That all of these were in, it'll be even better. Okay, that is effectively almost all of the beans. That is a huge pot. What is beans and ketchup? No, it's not a thing for me. No, what did you just say to me? I don't, what, is that like a British thing? They suggested, is that what's in baked beans? Barbecue sauce, basically, right? Okay, my hand is tired from doing this. I might have left a few beans, there we go. Then why are the beans red? Oh, that's a good point. You see, I never thought about that way. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for everything you've done. Okay, the beans held up in a pressure cooker super well. Great, really, really tender. Now let's get a ladle, and we're gonna spoon some of this in. Really properly now, right? Broth going in. We're gonna get this stuff nice and creamy. We'll get this back onto the stove, back onto the heat ASAP. And this is just going to cook as long as we need it. Okay. I do this really well, thank you. And let's do a couple more spoons of the broth going in. Once again, this has the pork bones. This has the chicken leg, right? And the chicken leg meat we're going to repurpose. The pork bones, maybe not so much. We're not going to use all of the broth. I don't think we need all of it. But guess what? If we need more liquid later, we'll know where to find it. Oh, that is impeccable. That is great. Okay, that's enough liquid for now. Let's head to the stove, my friends. Because we're on a little bit of a time crunch at the moment. So, fucking heavy. Holy shit. Okay. This goes on to the heat. And this needs to go now. We need to get that cooked. We need to get that creamy, my friends, okay? That is heavy. We want to get that cooked. We want everything to incorporate. And now we fold in all of the sausage, all of the aromatics from before. We'll mix that in. And this, we just cook up. Until we need it. And then the rice will be about 15 minutes. Okay, sweet. That's going, that's great. I'm really glad that we pre-cooked those ingredients, right? We pre-cooked all of the Trinity so that it was just ready in anticipation of beans. It looks a little bit loose now, but again, that's the whole point of this stage. The whole point of this stage at the moment, we cook this down, it'll be perfect for when we need it. Okay, sweet. Rice is boiling officially. So we put a lid on it, excuse me. Take that timer for 15 minutes. We have 3 things happening on the stove. We have the collards, we have the beans. We have a lot of shit going on, dude. Okay? We'll get this pot out of here. We have no more use for it at the moment. Besides, the only thing that I do need is I'm going to take the chicken leg and I'm going to shred that up. I don't want to get another cutting board dirty, but I already put that one away. I forgot about shredding it up, so I'm just going to use a plate so I don't have to wash another entire cutting board. Lower that heat, nice and low and slow with the Mavier. Okay. That's going good. That's looking good. Woof. Hello, guys. Hello, 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 hello. So, let's get that chicken out. Woof. A lot of cooking going on, isn't there? That broth is really nice. You know what? It has a lot of stickiness to it. I'm surprised that only in like 40 minutes, the amount of stickiness that the pork feet were able to give off to this whole thing. Okay. Once again, same deal as before, except I'm just going to I'm going to put on gloves this time. And we'll actually do a little bit of a better job, I think. Collards are going, collards are cooking beautifully. The beans are going as well. They need to come up to a proper boil now as well. I'm also going to give that a little sip. Oh, dude, that is so good. Holy shit. Okay, wait, the beans are honestly excellent. All they really need to do is just cook down. We're cooking down the liquid and it's going to soften. It's going to break some of them up and they'll get creamy, which is what we want. So as for the chicken, same deal as before. All we're doing, we're taking off the skin because we have no use for the skin. Okay. We take the meat off. Actually that skin is fine. That one's thin enough. We take all of that off. All that collagen off. We don't need it. All we're looking for is the meat itself. Take that bone out as well. We don't need it. Just looking for the meat, my friends. Okay. Oh, this one just came clean off because it had like a lot more time to cook it. Okay. Sweet. That meat is awesome. That is really just great. Okay. And it's all shredded up, which is what we want. And we're going to throw that into the collards in a moment. Just so that we're using all of it, right? We want to be nice and generous with the meat distribution throughout all of this. The collards need all the help that they can get. They only have 2 little chicken legs in there. Well, we're going to give it a 3rd one. And just to, give it a little bit more love. Okay. Head back to the stove. Let's dump that in. And, oh, the beans are going. They're cooking away now. Hello, my lovely friends. You're gonna get nice and creamy for me? Yes, yes they will. Pro tip, talking to your food makes it tastier. You've heard that one from me. Okay, let's get this chicken meat. We'll open up this pot of all the greens, just cooking down beautifully now. It's all stewing away the way it needs to. Lovely. And then we're gonna go in with our tongs and mix it through. Oh, oh, dude, that looks so good. That looks great. Are those bones? No, that's just meat. Okay. Oh, I'll get that little bone out of the way though. We have no use for you. Actually? Yeah. Those greens are cooking down. Nice. And now I'm also going to give this a little taste as well. I need to see the seasoning of the broth at this stage, okay? That is pretty important. These two are going to taste quite similar, but then also not. This one's going to be a little bit more acidic and just like a little bit more clean, and the beans are going to be nice and intense. That's good. That's really good. It's just going to need a lot more salt. And in fact, to try and intensify the meatiness, right? Because we don't need all of that liquid. We're just going to reduce this. We're going to have this be without the lid now. That's really good. I would have liked that food to go longer. I wish I had the smoked ham hocks, but unfortunately, we did not have the privilege for it. Rachel Ray doesn't talk to her food. That's why she fucks up. That's why she doesn't know what she's doing. Okay. Oh, dude, the beans are getting creamy. Yes! Trust me, without even agitating it too much, just by reducing the bean cooking liquid, okay, and letting some of them break up naturally, you're going to get a really, really beautifully creamy red bean. This is going to keep on going, though, for the moment. That is gorgeous. That is actually delicious looking. Look at this thing, huh? Oh, it's getting there, slowly but surely. I'm really excited about that. I'm really, really happy about it. I have absolutely no problem with the way that that's going at the moment. The American Jamie Oliver? Jesus Christ, no. Please. Oh, wait, who? Rachel Ray? Maybe her. She's not that bad. To be called Jamie Oliver is to reach a new level of shit. That is actually below shit tier. We do not like Jamie Oliver in this house at all. That is the one that we viscerally dislike. Okay. Gordon Ramsay yells at his food and say what you will about him, but he can get food moving quickly? Yes, but can he make that food well? Not particularly. And his knowledge of theory and science? Non-existent. He really falls into that victim of celebrity chefs just kind of saying shit about food. And it doesn't really necessarily hold up all that well. A lot of other people do it, but him especially bad considering his stature. Oh, my friends, these beans look so fucking good. You have no idea. Well, actually, you do have an idea. You can actually see it. I bet if I taste that, it's going to get even more intense. I'm glad I didn't add any more salt, because a lot of those components in there were quite salty to begin with. Dude. You know what? The sage and the thyme, they just barely come through. It's really nice. We'll add probably a little bit more salt at the end, just to make sure that we're doing okay on it. But at the moment, all I care about is getting it to the texture. If we season it to perfection now, by the time that we fully reduce it, we might have just ended up with some really, really over salted beans. So only for things that are creamy, right? For things like that are soupy, it's really nice to season them at the end. Now, that being said, the collards are looking really good. They've got little bits of chicken throughout. They're getting really nice and tender with a little bit of thyme. And this, I really do think, can just go on for quite an extended period of time. And we'll do another splash of vinegar in there in a moment. We'll do that right now. Oh, that's getting really good. You know what? The pork, the chicken, it's there. There's some of it in there. It's really nice. Another big splash of vinegar. Gonna go in. Once again, I'm using the Filipino one, just so that I get rid of it, right? Because I had a bunch of it, and I want to use it up. And also, people like to do a little bit of hot sauce in the red beans. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm gonna ask Sparky. Sparky, are you still in the chat? Is that okay if I add a hot sauce directly into the red beans themselves? Or is that something that is only like a garnish on the plate? that which gets added. I feel like I need somebody else's expertise on that matter. That has that acidity now. That's what I'm looking for. You want that slight bit of acidity to the greens. It makes it really special. And then a bunch of salt gonna go in now, because it's not gonna reduce that much, right? It's a big cauldron of soup, in a way. Couple big pinches of salt going in. And those greens are coming out really nicely. And we'll give the beans another mix through. I'm just making sure the salt is evenly incorporated throughout all the greens that we have, my friends. I have no idea how I'm gonna fit all this into the fridge, but I do have some mouths to feed, so it'll just be fine. Okay. Let me taste that. Good. Still too much crunch on it. Honestly, do I usually make a lot of Southern food? No, not particularly. In the beans themselves, right? Do I make a lot of Southern food? No, not at all. Really, it's actually kind of just this. I've done red beans a few times, maybe, and by few I mean maybe like once or twice. Also, it is starting to get like a little dry at the bottom. I can tell when I scrape it through. We want to drop the heat slightly, and this is where we want to agitate and stir it a little bit more often, right? You don't want it to squelch, but guys, you can tell over time the texture of those beans just changing. That texture is phenomenal at the moment. That is getting so creamy, dude. That is awesome. I fucking love red beans. So, I mean, I'm just gonna do Frank's, because I have Frank's. Traditionally, wouldn't you use something like, wait, where's my Frank's? There it is. You would use like Crystal or something? I don't know. Something like that. I like Frank's. I have Frank's at home. That's what I'm using. Boop. Let's get that much in. It'll give it like a nice amount of acidity. Oh, ah! My tongs just fell and I caught that shit. I'm crazy. Nobody does it like me. I'm actually insane, you know that? Nobody does it like me. Oh, dude, those beans are looking amazing. I did make a huge mess in the kitchen today, though, because I have a habit of just splashing all over the place. For when you drop a knife, I've never dropped a knife in my life. That's never happened to me. Maybe once when I was washing dishes, I think I dropped like a steak knife or something, but maybe that was it. Maybe, and if that. Okay. The greens are looking excellent. They've got little bits of meat all over them, which is exactly what you want. They're nice and acidic, nice and salty. I love greens. I love a good proper green, and they're slightly smoky. The chicken legs really did come through, which is nice. That's all I wanted from them. Let me taste that broth one more time on them. That's it. That's it right there in terms of the acidity. So good. So good. Hello, Big Zach. Hello, hello. And now we're going to taste the bean liquid. Dude. That's so good. We'll even do a little bit more hot sauce in there. That is so fucking good. Are you serious right now? Oh, the beans are special. That's where it's at, my friends. The beans. It's always been about the beans. Look how creamy they're getting. And there's the sausage in there, and the fucking trinity, the onions, the peppers, the celery. This is the star of today's show. This is where it's at. God, I love beans. Beans are my favorite food. Refried beans are just like, you know, whatever, like Mexican, like black beans. Fucking amazing. Some of my favorite things to eat. That is incredible. That is so good. Jake Kenji Lopez mentions Frank's in his red beans recipe, so Frank's is fine. Oh, there we go. We're just trusting Jay Kenji with anything. That is remarkable. That is actually remarkable. Fucking lovely. That is really, really lovely. That is so good. Dude, that heat from the cayenne and the hot sauce, really, really warm, not overpoweringly so. Salinity will boost it at the end because we still don't know how much we're gonna reduce it down. We'll find that texture that we're happy with. This texture is great at the moment, but we can probably get even a little creamier, even a little thicker with just a little bit more time. Time is gonna be the best friend with this kind of thing, okay? The collards are going. The collards needs a little bit more salinity as well because that's not gonna reduce too much by the time that we're done with it. Get that in there, get that mixed through. And ideally, the collards are gonna be a little bit undercooked for when I wanna eat them, which is fine because I'm just gonna have this pot behind me and just have that cook for another like 30 minutes or an hour or so. Oh, but those collards look so good. Okay, and the rice is just about done as well. So we'll mix that through and let that rest for a few minutes. It's looking great. Okay, you know what? Everything came together at the end, which is always a really good sign. That is lovely. Those beans, special, huh? Really good. A little bit more salt on that, and it'd be awesome. Okay, rice is done. That's cooked for about 15 minutes. Let's mix that through. Let's get that done. Okay. Head over here. Okay. All we're gonna do, we're just gonna mix this bad boy through, and we're gonna put it back on and rest for 5 minutes. And then it's done. It's a GoPro. It should be fine with the steam. It should be okay. Okay. Rice. Totally done. Once again, we used Haigu rice. Right? A little bit more nutritional value. Perfectly done. Perfectly cooked. Look at that grain separation. Look at that individuality. It has something to say. Perfect. Just mixing it through, and then we let it rest for 5 minutes. Lovely. Okay, great, 5 minutes, and then that's totally done. This, I'm just gonna dry off. That was just steam that went on it. I made a mess once again, but that's okay, that's fine. I don't particularly mind. Let's take one more look at the stove. Oh, dude. Yeah, that's the viscosity that we want, isn't it? That's the stuff. That's it right there, my friends. We did not need any more broth. That was just the right amount of bean cooking liquid. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. It is a sight to behold, isn't it? It's got all of that fat. It has that chicken fat. It has the sausage fat that we cooked in. It has everything that you could possibly want in those beans. It has flavor. It has the herbs. It has the trinity. It has a little bit of cayenne. It has a little bit of hot sauce. Oh, that is lovely. That is really lovely stuff. Okay, I can kill the heat on that. That's the texture that I want. That's the viscosity that I want. I don't want that any thicker. Now, I know how much salt to actually add in. We're gonna do about one of these and one of those. Maybe a little bit of that too. And that will be a perfectly seasoned red beans. Ah, nice. The collard greens I'm gonna have basically cooking up until the very end. But that, my friends, that is now done. That is the way that it should look. Sweet. Have a little taste, one more time. Perfect on the salinity, awesome. Let me taste the green broth. Really, really nice. Okay. It might be time. Ah, excuse me. I'm gonna wipe my nose. Okay, I can start thinking about plating, can't I? I'm just gonna get some things out of the way while I can. The greens are cooking along. Everything is looking amazing, the way that it should. Let's get this opened. That'll be for the rice. My friends, it is soon time for us to eat. You guys excited? You guys ready? I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm just going to keep scraping up that bottom because this is going to continue to conduct heat, right? That's where it's at. And now, it is time for us to plate, I believe. It's time. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. First up, we're going to get some of the greens. I'm just going to go in with some tongs. Get a nice little scoop. It's a little bit undercooked, so it's going to be a little bit firmer than I'd like. But you know what? That's fine, because it's just going to stay cooking for the next person that eats them. Get a little bit of that broth in there as well. Those are my greens, for the moment at least. All right? Once again, not the ideal green, a little bit undercooked, but I just think it's time for us to eat. That can ideally go for like another 30 minutes or so, and that is not time that we presently have. Okay? Also, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, let's get a wooden spoon. Let's get my rice out. I'm going to portion this out for this. I'm quite hungry. I've been really excited about this meal. Oh shit, did I make another mess on my table again? I did, didn't I? My favorite. Hello, how you doing today? Rice is great, rice is lovely. Texture is perfect as always. We'll do the thing that we love doing, don't we? We'll take this, we'll flip it over. We'll do that. We got the rice now. We'll get the lid out of here. And then the final step is going to be us taking the beans, the sausage, the beans, all of that broth, the fat, everything. We're going to go in, nice big ladleful. Oh, dude, that looks amazing. We'll get a little bit more of that broth in there. That is perfect. That is actually perfect. Look at that. That is a plate of red beans and rice if I've ever seen one. And then, of course, my greens to go alongside all of it. How do I frame it? How do I make this look nice? I suppose something like that, huh? Dude, look at that. That looks great. Looks lovely? I think so too. That's the texture that I wanted. You see that viscosity? You see that? These beans are fucking creamy, okay? You do it from the ground up and you save all of the bean cooking liquid, and then it is able to reduce and get really, really thick. So now, let's take a fork and dig in. My friends, thank you so much for being here. This is a fairly short stream, only 2 hours and 10 minutes in. Didn't take that much time, but that's okay. Oh, dude. Cheers, huh? Oh, that's so good. That is lovely. That is actually fantastic. That makes me so happy. Now for the collards. Really nice, just needs a bit more cook time. But otherwise fantastic. Oh. I miss the South. I haven't visited in a while. Dude. Wait, how much sausage did I get? Okay, I got 3 coins, that's fine. I had plenty to snack on as well. I'll leave some more for the others. The alternative is just to cook the beans as it is. Just cook them as it is. Soak them 4 to 8 hours, and then it takes about 1.5 hours to 2.5 hours to fully cook them, depending on the beans themselves. And that sausage as well. The bites of that you get in there, actually fantastic. That is phenomenal. Okay, I'm done fucking around. I'm getting a spoon. No more fucking around and finding out. We're just getting into business now. So good. You know what's even better? I didn't use like some shitty New York brand of andouille sausage either. I adapted this to my locally available ingredients. I had some Eastern European smoked chicken, and I also had some fucking Hungarian smoked cured sausage. Right? This was adapted to my local environment, and in spite of that, I was able to get a really delicious, unique product. That is just so good. That is so good. Whoa. That is really lovely. It makes me really happy. I'm very happy with this. This is exactly what I've been craving. This is exactly what I had in mind, and it just really came through. This really just pulled together. Ugh. I only made some with ham and maple syrup. Well, there we go. Gotta change this up. This is the way to go, my friends. Seriously. Cooking the sausage, rendering the fat, cooking the vegetables in the fat, and really reducing the vegetables makes it special. Because the vegetables just become one with the sauce. You're not getting pieces of bell pepper. It just becomes one with everything else. That's genuinely lovely. So, Sparky, I feel like you're the authority that I would defer to. How did I do? Damn, that is good. Let me check my phone. I must have missed a lost in notice. Quite a few. Woo. I'm very happy about that. Right? I think so too. I have the Trinity. I have the sausage. Look at the closest adapted sausage that I could. My kitchen is hot because I've had like 3 stoves going. I'm sweating in here. I'm positively sweating. That is amazing. Even the collard greens, man, even if they're a little bit undercooked. Really good stuff. So guys, talk to me. This is, of course, the final stage of the cooking stream. This is what we're just doing before we close off. It'll take a little bit of time for me to finish eating, of course. If anybody has any final comments, concerns, questions, anything that they want to say to me, you can also ask me about anything, not necessarily food. And this would be the place to do it. I'm just going to mix this up to make sure it's not scorched at the bottom or anything. It's looking good. The greens are going still? Great. Yes, the pressure cooker made it significantly faster because like the beans basically got fully cooked in 40 minutes. For you to get that kind of a cook, you need like 8 hours soak plus 2 hour cook time on kidney beans. The sage and the thyme, trust me, don't sleep on it. Just that little bit made a huge difference. I should have. Second day back at the gym today. It wasn't that amazing of a gym day, but I'm getting back on track with it, which is nice. Man, I love red beans and rice. It's been so long since I've had like a decent one, you know that? This is a red beans rice that anybody would be proud to serve, I think. It's definitely one of the better ones I've had too. Ideally, making a super dense broth with the ham hocks. That's what would have taken it to like a next level. But the texture, the cook, the seasoning, everything is otherwise just perfect. Man. The rice came out quite good today too. They're just soaking all of it up. And the sausage. It's like a little bit of a treat throughout all of that. It's like you get these little treats of these chewy, salty, smoky sausages. One of the best parts of the whole thing. Ah, so smoky too. The smoke really does come out. Oof. Invest in a pressure cooker, seriously, if you can. Dude. This is truly one of those moments that I wish you guys could taste this. Those greens do need to cook more, but it'll be fine. Yeah. They're excellent. For broths and beans, that's what I basically exclusively use them for. Almost every day. I do make enough food that there's like a lot of leftover food though, so kind of. I do cook very transformatively. Everything that I cook is almost like using the previous ingredients that I've had, so that stuff doesn't go bad. This entire dish, everything spawned from me having kale that I wanted to get rid of. And so I made collard greens, and then I saw that I had red beans. The salting water thing might be a bit of a myth. It actually just could go back to cook time. And the reason I'm saying it's like a bit of a myth is because there's like a lot of contrary info on that. Like there's like things that suggest otherwise. Man, I'm so happy with this. Dude, fucking mint, huh? Those beans, the fact that I just have them around now is a blessing, because that is just going to make a perfect few meals. Okay, sweet. Okay. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. We're going to go ahead and look through Twitch, see who is currently streaming at the moment. We'll give them a raid. I think that's going to be the vibe for tonight. Who is streaming? I see Willow is streaming. Well, good, Willow. That sounds good. Alrighty, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Really, really appreciate all of you. No, that's all in the music. It is not thunderstorming in New York, but maybe that's tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I'll see you guys next time. Sunday, I believe 3 p.m. or so. Sunday, 3 p.m. I'm going to get an exact time later on. 3 p.m. Eastern time. Excuse me. If you want to watch the next cooking stream. The schedule is Friday, Sunday, Wednesday. Weekdays is going to be 6 o'clock. Weekends, 3 o'clock. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and grade Willow. I'll see you guys on the other side. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Sunday, yeah? You better be there. Or else there will be consequences.